Hey, this is Dr. Joe, and welcome back to part two of this two-part series on 10 habits of successful real estate investors. What do they possess? Just a quick recap on part one, which I really highly recommend that you kind of check out if you get the time, because it'll make everything a lot clearer and easier to understand as we go to part two. But anyway, let's just do a quick recap. In part one, we covered the first five habits. So, number one habit was a willingness to set clear goals and take action. What does that mean? It means that successful real estate investors realize that you can't read your way to financial independence. You can't podcast your way to financial independence. You can't hope your way to financial independence. At some point, it does require you to take action, pull the trigger, and make it happen. That's just the way it is. And so what does that mean? It means that you really take time to understand your strengths and weaknesses, take time to understand or develop your short-term, mid-term, and long-term goal while you're doing this. What's the end game in all this? If you recall, my game was the ability to get passive income so I could transition out of my 9 to 5 job to become, essentially financially independent through real estate investing. That was the drive for me. And so as I went through ups and downs, good times, bad times, I stayed focused and was able to reach that milestone. I think over 20 years ago now, and so on. So that's number one. Number two is the a deep understanding of their local markets. They realize that at the end of the day, real estate is very localized. It's important that obviously to understand the macro picture, on a US level or the country level, maybe on the state level, or even on a local level. But at the end of the day, it's all about neighborhoods, it's all about areas, it's about specifics. And therefore successful investors take the time to understand their local markets, what's going on, what the trends are, what's going on, and therefore they're able to take action based on that knowledge. Number three is honesty. They find that successful investors just generally do the right thing in terms of just being honest. They try to help others, and generally, what goes around comes around. So if you do good, generally good comes back to you, and you can develop long-term sustainable relationships just by being honest. Number four is a focus on a particular niche. They realize that you can't be a jack of all trades. You can't one week do wholesaling, next week you do fix and flip. The next week after that you do buy and hold. Next thing after that you do lease options. Next thing you do commercial. You do self storage. You know you just go around and chasing what I call chasing rainbows. So successful real estate investors, they take the time to understand and pick a niche, whatever that niche may be, and you develop all your efforts and energies towards understanding and mastering that particular niche. And then number five, we talked about building a network and encouraging referrals. They realize that at the end of the day, you can't do this by yourself. And it's important to develop networks, relationships with other people. You can leverage on the expertise of other talents, whether it be more seasoned real estate investors, people who have insider information, and so on. So, and also they encourage people to use their networks. So these were the five things that we talked about in part one of the 10 habits. And now we're going to focus on part two. Okay, so let's get going. And number six is unwavering commitment to continuous education. What does that mean? Essentially, successful investors understand that real estate is dynamic. Trends always changing, and regulations and strategies are always evolving, and therefore it's really important to be ahead, to be one step ahead, and understand what's going on, be at the forefront, and as a result of that, successful real estate investors sort of prioritize ongoing learning, and they realize that things are changing, and therefore they need to keep in contact and up to date with the trends. And they seek out educational resources and things like books, seminars, webinars, podcasts, conferences, and so forth. Because by expanding their knowledge base and skill sets, these investors equip themselves to make more informed decisions, mhm, adapt to market shifts, and also seize opportunities that others may pass along, say, or others may overlook anyway. And so, through dedication and really staying on top of their game, education wise, they can gain a competitive edge. And also, investors, by staying on top of what's going on, um, they can sort of stay ahead of legal ramifications and therefore hopefully not fall trap of lawsuits and problems with the city, the state, and so forth. So successful real estate investors essentially stay educated and adapt to any regulatory and economic trends. I'm sorry, I got a little cold here, so hopefully this is helping out. Okay, so that's number six, and number seven is understand and mitigate risks. We all know that real estate, there is a level of risk associated with real estate investing. I know that in stock markets, when you hear an advert, they always put disclaimers, warnings regarding inherent risks involved in investing. But if you listen to these gurus, watch the infomercials and things like that, they don't really do that. They don't really say that. They always say, or at least give the impression that real estate is easy. You can make lots of money, easy money, and so forth. They're kind of, I don't know, don't really talk about the risks associated with that. But successful real estate investors understand and they mitigate, they reduce the inherent risks associated with it, whatever it is that they're invested in. So it's not just about making easy money because it doesn't work that way. And so what they do to manage risks, they first of all they acknowledge that risks occur, and they proactively engage in comprehensive risk analysis and mitigation. So what do? They conduct due diligence before they buy a property. They check out the neighborhood. They check out the property. They check out the what's possible if you're going to renovate the house. They understand if they're going to rent it that they can get um, good tenants who will stay there for a long time, and so on. So they do due diligence associated with the property condition and also the market dynamics and the potential financial implications of the acquisition and renovation if they decide to pull the trigger. Furthermore, they stay informed about things like insurance, legal considerations. If you're going to rent, obviously it's important to know landlord tenant laws. It's important to know federal laws associated with um, fair housing, and they also mitigate risk by understanding market trends, allow them to anticipate and to reduce potential risk. So by taking a proactive approach to risk management, successful real estate investors essentially position themselves for sustainable success um, in the challenging environment that we're in. So again, we understand that risk is inherent, but it doesn't necessarily mean that because it's risky, you shouldn't pull the trigger. No, it means that you need to understand and mitigate the risk, and therefore, if you when you pull the trigger, you're more likely to be successful and have a successful outcome. Again, I apologize for a little sore throat I have. I wanted to do this, um, but please beware. Okay, number eight, sorry, is they enlist This is what another successful habit of successful real estate investors is that they enlist the services of bookkeepers and accountants. That's an interesting one. It took me a long time, but I definitely have engaged for a number of years now bookkeepers and CPA accountants. Why? Because successful real estate investors recognize the importance of maintaining accurate and organized financial records. For this reason, we tend to enlist the services of bookkeepers and accountants. Why? Because they play a crucial role keep their financial house in order. I think I shared the story before many years ago. Well, before where I was audited by the IRS. Um, it was pretty hairy, but it was okay. Everything turned out okay in the end, and because I had my books in order, I had my bookkeeper, and what the bookkeeper did was essentially recording income and expenses, tracking my rental payments, and reconciling the various bank statements that I have, and to ensure that my books are in order, and also the transactions were adequately documented and categorized. We use a tool called QuickBooks, and you can categorize transactions into what they call classes, and so we do that for all activities associated with what we do, and therefore, what this does, it provides me and other people clear and up to date picture of the financial health of the business, financial health of each property, and financial health of the entire portfolio. Accountants, on the other hand, offer a more comprehensive financial perspective. What does that mean? They handle such things as tasks as tax planning, tax preparation, filing, the filing with the IRS and also with the state, and also financial analysis and reporting by leveraging but essentially by leveraging the expertise of bookkeepers and accountants, real estate investors, we can focus on what we're good at, which is running the business, making financial decisions, strategic decisions, knowing that we're compliant with federal, state, and local regulations, and also maximizing financial efficiency. So that's what uh, good bookkeepers and accountants do. In my case, my bookkeeper, she's virtual. She's based out of Canada. I've never actually met the lady, but I've been working with her for about 13, 14 years now. It's really, really good. And we just have a system going on whereby we're constantly she's keeping track of what's going on with all my different activities, and it's really helping me out. So taxes do represent a significant portion of expenses, and therefore it's important that you have a CPA that understands real estate, understands the quote unquote loopholes associated with real estate investors, and can um, you know, um, maximize what's the right word? Maximize it. I don't know. Yeah, maximize your ability to minimize your taxes. How about that? Tax laws are very complicated, and I can't. I really don't have the time or the desire to master that. So I'd rather use the services of people who that's their business. That's what they do. So successful real estate investors essentially understand that costs associated with a bookkeeper and accountant can be negligible within the bigger picture, within the larger scope of things. And yes, it's an expense, but it saves you money in the long term in terms of your financial management and also in terms of tax savings. Okay, so that's number 8. Number 9 habit that successful real estate and um, investors have is they understand the importance of developing a team. Now, what does that mean? They understand that you know you can't, as the saying goes, no man is an island. You can't do this by yourself. You need to surround yourself with team. So develop, but also not just any team, but a competent and reliable real estate investment team is really important. Especially if you take a long-term view of things. A well-rounded team, what does it do? It brings together professionals and with specialized skills and expertise, also complements your skill sets, and it kind of what's the right word? It kind of builds upon your areas of weaknesses, and therefore you're more likely to have a more well-rounded operation because you're leveraging the talents and expertise of other people. You can't do it all. This team typically comprises various professionals, such as real estate agents, property managers, contractors, lenders, attorneys, accountants, and so forth. The importance of a strong team allows you to navigate the complexities of real estate investing and also mitigate risk. We kind of talked about that earlier on, and also maximize profitability. We kind of know what each of these trades do. Real estate agents, obviously, they provide you with market knowledge and assist you with finding properties and hopefully find you with good deals. Property managers, I manage my own properties, but there are property managers. They handle the day-to-day operations, tenant screening, and property maintenance. Contractors obviously ensure the quality of renovations or repairs. And let's have a look. Attorneys, make sure that you stay on top of things on a legal standpoint. You don't cross, um, you're in compliance with all your legal obligations, and make sure that you're protected. And accountants, obviously, they focus on the financial management and tax strategies. So by assembling a skilled team, um, you can gain insights, support, and resources, allowing you to leverage the collective expertise of all these other people. This collaborative approach, it kind of helps you um, to make informed decisions, streamline processes, and ultimately achieve your investments a lot quicker and more efficiently. So rather than the risk and time of trying to figure it out and doing it all yourself, successful real estate investors know that it's worth the time and the additional cost of assembling a quality A1 team, because at the end of the day, you can't do it by yourself. You need to embrace the talents and the expertise of others. And finally, number 10 is another trait of or habit of successful real estate investors is okay, let me just change that one around. That should be really it should be, let me change that one. It should be adopt a long-term perspective. I'm going to do it in real time. Adopt a long-term perspective. So yeah, so anyway, that's what's it called? Adopt a long-term perspective is the adopt a long-term perspective. I made a little. Okay, so number 10 is adopt a long-term perspective. That's the 10th trait or habit of successful real estate investors. What does that mean? Successful real estate investors prioritize long-term as opposed to short-term. They look they take a long-term view because they understand that real estate is a vehicle to generate wealth as an asset class, and it appreciates over time. The way I talk about it is you let time do the heavy lifting. Okay, by holding properties for the long term, investors can benefit the substantial appreciation, capital appreciation that real estate offers, increasing their equity and overall returns over time. Secondly, a long term view allows investors to generate stable and consistent cash flow from rental income. Okay, but you got to make sure that you minimize turnover in order to realize that stable, reliable income stream. Because a turnover, as I regularly say, can wipe out a lot of the cash flow that you make. So by selecting properties with solid rental potential, they generate and create a reliable income stream that supports their financial goals. Moreover, successful investors understand that real estate markets go through cycles. It's cyclical. It doesn't just go up and up. At some point, it goes down and then it comes back again. It goes through cycles, and there are some short-term fluctuations as part of the market dynamics. I've been through 4, maybe 5 market cycles. I have a pretty good idea how this plays out, but it's not always good times. The market does do shifts, and it's important that you stay on top of things. By taking a long-term view, they can weather the market ups and downs by capturing overall growth and stability that real estate offers. Additionally, holding properties for the long term or extended period of time, it allows you to what I call implement some added value add strategies, such as you can enhance the property value, you can make improvements to the property in order to generate higher returns. Finally, a long-term approach allows us or you as investors to leverage the tax benefits, build equity, and mitigate transaction costs. Over time, you know, the, the tax laws tend to favor long-term investing as opposed to short-term transactions. So through long-term viewpoint, you can really leverage the power of real estate in terms of appreciation, cash flow, tax benefits, leverage, and so forth. So essentially, taking a long-term view allows you to build wealth steadily, capitalize on market dynamics, and also create a stable and prosperous investment portfolio. So that's the 10 habits of successful real estate investors. Let me just quickly go through each of those again. So, willingness to set goals and take action, number one. Number two, a deep understanding of local markets. Three, honesty. Four, focus on a particular niche. Five, build a network and encouraging referrals. Six, unwavering commitment to continuous education. The markets, the environment is always changing. You need to stay on top of that, and therefore you can never say you know enough. No, it's always important to expand your knowledge base through podcasts, reading, YouTube videos, going to conferences, and networking with like-minded people. Number seven, understanding that real estate inherently is risky, and therefore you need to mitigate your risk. And how you do that, you can do that different ways. We kind of talked about that. Number seven, enlist the services of bookkeepers and accountants. It's really important to know how you're doing financially and making sure that you got your financial books in order. You may get audited like I did. And therefore, if you do, it's really, really important that you go into the audit with with your books in order and so forth. But even if you don't get an audit, it's also important to know understand how you're doing from a financial standpoint. Are you making money? Are you losing money? How much money are you making? Where are the true costs? Where are the true expenses? And that will help you make decisions more clearly. Number nine, understand the importance of developing a team. Um, you can't do this by yourself. Real estate is not a one-man show. No man is an island, as they say. It's important to develop a team of people, whether it be attorneys, real estate investors, lenders, accountants, contractors. You can't do it all by yourself. It doesn't make any sense to do it all by yourself. You need to surround yourself with like-minded people who are swimming in the same direction that you are, and also are prepared and willing to help you on your journey. And number 10 is successful real estate investors adopt a long-term perspective. They take the long-term view. They understand that real estate is a cyclical game. It goes through market cycles. Wealth takes time. As I say, you let time do the heavy lifting for you. And therefore, by taking a long-term view, you can really realize the benefits and the power that real estate affords you in terms of leverage, in terms of tax benefits, cash flow, appreciation, and and equity buildup and so forth. And so, what's the bottom line here? The bottom line is that despite abundant advertising claiming that real estate is easy, real estate investing is easy, it's not. Okay, in fact, it's a challenging business requiring expertise, planning, and focus. In addition, because the business revolves around people, investors benefit in the term long run by operating with integrity and by showing respect to associates and clients. Though it may be relatively simple to learn, short-lived profits, developing a long-term view, real estate investing requires skill sets, efforts, and these 10 important habits that I've shared as part of this two-part series. So again, I hope this was helpful. Hope that this was informative. And I went through the 10 habits that I found successful real estate investors tend to have. And if you need to reach out to me, you can always shoot me an email at joe@joeasamoah.com, joe@joeasamoah.com. And I'd be more than willing to engage with me and we'll engage with you. You can also engage with me or connect with me on Instagram and also on YouTube as well. So with that said and done, I'll wrap this up and hope this is helpful. And I'll see you at the top. Take care. Bye for now.